So, the first general critique that appears across the board from many different critics is that the film is too grim. Now, this is an interesting point because, yeah, I mean, no one is going to argue that the film is not grim. It is certainly grim. The colors are dark. It's about killing. There's a lot of parallels towards terrorism. It's a very, very dark thing to think about. It's a dark film to experience. Does that make the film bad? I don't think so. And my big question is, did you go into this film thinking that it would not be grim? I mean, we have 3 Batman movies from Nolan, we have one from Burton, and then we have a bunch of crappy ones. But pretty much all of those Batman movies that we consider good were fairly grim. Even Man of Steel was grim. So it was pretty obvious that this film was going to be very dark. It is a movie about crime, corruption, and death. And I understand that a lot of Marvel movies are also about crime, corruption, and death. But this movie, you know, although Superman is still flying through the universe and using laser eyes, is relatively trying to be realistic. It's trying to understand how the population would respond to this immense presence of power. Naturally, it's going to be largely negative. And to convey how negative that response would be and how bad all of these events are, the film needs to be very dark. Batman is also a very grim character, and especially the way he is in this movie, he's old and he's jaded. He is very demoralized from what he's done throughout his life. He feels that he hasn't made a huge difference. So not only are we taking the normal grim Batman, but we're taking an aged and a very negative Batman. So if any movie is going to be grim, it would make sense to be this one. 2 of the world's most prominent heroes are fighting to the death, essentially. So that's a pretty goddamn grim concept. The star, quote, "I counted only one joke," seems to be very offended that this movie did not have jokes throughout. Do we really want Batman vs. Superman to have one-liner jokes throughout the entire movie? Is that going to enhance the movie? I can only speak for myself here, but personally, with the grim tone that is set, having jokes would just completely take the audience out of the element. It would take you out of the seriousness of the conflict. It would demean all of the violence. It would demean the stakes. Everything would be cheapened by mixing humor into this type of film. So I don't know why all of these critics and even a lot of audience members are complaining that there aren't enough jokes. I think the only reason that people are complaining about that is because they went into this movie wanting a Marvel Avengers movie. And I really don't want that. If I wanted to watch a very fun, action-packed movie with very, relatively shallow characters, then I would have watched the Avengers. I like having the diversity of a dark, grim movie that takes itself very seriously because we already have options to watch fun superhero movies. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like videos like this, hit the subscribe button so we can make more of them.